MARC, the Commuter Rail for DC, Maryland, and West Virginia, just released their Growth and Transformation Plan. This plan aims to make MARC a much better service for the commuters that rely on it. So let's see what the Maryland MTA plans to do. Let's start with something that MARC could really benefit from: increased frequency. MARC is known for some pretty terrible schedules. The Camden line, which operates from Washington Union Station to Camden Station in Baltimore, operates rush hour period only. This means that during off-peak times there are no trains that run at all. The same is true for the Brunswick line, which sees 9 round trips for morning and evening rush hour. Camden and Brunswick line trains also do not operate on weekends, making it very difficult to live car-free. The only MARC line that follows a decent schedule is the Penn line. The Penn line operates from Washington to Perryville, Maryland, on Amtrak's electrified Northeast Corridor. Most service operates between Washington, Baltimore, and Martin State Airport, with service north of Perryville following the same trashy schedule as the Camden and Brunswick lines. The rest of the Penn line operates 30-minute headways during rush hour, which isn't too bad but could be better. It sees trains every hour or so during off-peak periods and operates limited service on Saturdays and Sundays. The plan calls to bring 30-minute or better headways during rush hour to the Penn and Camden lines from Baltimore to Washington, along with 60-minute or better headways on the Brunswick line, with select stations on the line seeing 30-minute headways. According to the MTA, this will be accomplished in the next 5 years or so in the first phase of the plan. Phase 2 will see greater weekend service on the Penn line, including 20-minute rush hour headways and weekend service to Frederick. Overall, it's pretty great that MARC is trying to better their frequencies, as they're not great. But now let's move on to probably the most ambitious part of the plan. MARC plans to greatly expand their network into new states. Let's start with the Penn line expansion into Delaware. You heard me right, MARC wants to expand the Penn line across the border into Delaware, mainly to serve Wilmington and connect with SEPTA. Taking a look at the map, MARC will add 2 new stations, Elkton and Newark. There's already a station in Newark, but Elkton does not have one. There used to be a station there, but it doesn't serve trains anymore, so it's likely MARC will just reactivate that one. It does show that Elkton will be a future station, so when the extension opens, Elkton will immediately reopen, but eventually MARC will service the station. Trains up to Delaware would run every 2 hours during peak hours, which is blatantly terrible. However, Delaware is quite far from DC and not too many people will be commuting down, so it does make some sense. This also likely means that service north of Baltimore and Martin State will be much more frequent than it is now, which is always good. The Penn line would already be around 100 miles long when extended to Wilmington, but that's not the only expansion the Penn line will be getting. MARC also plans to expand the Penn line south of Washington to Alexandria, Virginia, creating a SEPTA-style through-running service. This would also allow greater connection to Virginia Railway Express, the commuter rail for Northern Virginia. The Brunswick line will also be getting a major expansion in western Maryland, mainly to Cumberland. Well over 100 miles away from Washington, Cumberland is a city of around 20,000 and has never seen a regular commuter rail service from MARC, only being served by Amtrak's Floridian. This extension will also see a station in Hancock, West Virginia. The final expansion of MARC service would be to the Frederick branch, with an expansion to Hagerstown, a city of 43,000. According to the map, the Hagerstown expansion will be a branch off of the Frederick branch at Monocacy. It's much more likely the actual expansion will be from Frederick, but as of now we have no idea. These 3 expansions will give MARC a network in the range of 250 miles, and as time goes on, it'll be exciting to see when and how MARC expands outward. While not directly stated in the plan published by the MTA, one of MARC's biggest shortcomings is their outdated fleet. While they do have modern Siemens Charger and MPI 36 locomotives, they have a great lack of electric power. The only electrics MARC roster are a small fleet of HHP-8s. The HHP-8s were built to supplement Amtrak's AEM-7 locomotives while they were being rebuilt, and to replace the 70s era E60 locomotives. Amtrak ordered 15 from Bombardier Alstom in 1996 and branded them with their fleet of at the time new Acela Express train sets. MARC ordered 6 units, numbered 4910 to 4915 for use on the Penn line. At this time, MARC also rostered 4 AEM-7s, but retired them in 2017. When Amtrak inevitably retired their AEM-7s, their replacement was the Siemens ACS-64, brand new electric locomotives for the Northeast Corridor based on the Euro Sprinter design. SEPTA, who also rostered the AEM-7s, followed suit by ordering their own ACS-64s. You'd think that MARC would also order the ACS-64, but instead they chose the SC-44 Charger. Also built by Siemens, the Chargers were built to succeed the P-42 and F-59 diesels on state-supported Amtrak routes, as well as commuter rail operators across the nation, notably Altamont, Corridor Express, and Coaster. MARC chose the SC-44 primarily because it could be utilized across all three lines and could supplement the MP-36 and GP-39 locomotives. As for the HHP-8s, between 2017 and 2018 they received an overhaul to stay in service. They still operate on the Northeast Corridor to this day, but only on a select few rush hour trains on weekdays. This isn't great at all, as diesel locomotives are bad for the environment, and while it's hard to get freight railroads to electrify, when the commuter rail service runs under electrified trackage there is no excuse. So how will MARC fix this problem? The obvious answer is to order electric locomotives. There are two reasonable ways MARC could electrify. The first is to buy ACS-64s from Amtrak second-hand. Once their new train sets from Siemens arrive, they will sell off most sprinters, only keeping a few for long-distance services like the Silver Meteor. Amtrak's fleet of ACS-64s is huge, with 68 currently on the roster. However, other agencies will likely be in pursuit of the ACS-64. The aforementioned SEPTA, who already rosters 15, will likely try to add a few more to their fleet. However, it's much more likely the MBTA will pursue ACS-64s as they're in a similar situation as MARC. MARC currently rosters 5 HHP-8s, with the 6 mentioned earlier being a parts source. With 10 ACS-64s, MARC could easily retire them and run a few more electric trains. With 20 to 25, MARC could possibly make the Penn line an all-electric service and send diesel equipment to the Brunswick and Camden lines. The other way MARC can electrify would be to order the multi-level 3 rail cars currently on order for NJ Transit. While unlikely to happen, multiple units are vastly superior to locomotives and coaches, with faster acceleration and braking plus wear and tear on the motors from such due to horsepower being distributed throughout the consist. Whether it's ACS-64s or electric multiple units or some other option, MARC will have quite a few options to modernize the Penn line. And with that, we have concluded how the MTA plans to modernize the commuter rail. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this one. This one took a bit longer to make because there's just a lot to read through on the MTA's document. I will link it below so you can check it out for yourself and see what they're doing. I want to say sorry this video was a bit late because of the 4th of July and just other stuff going on. But thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.